A young boy lying alone on bed looking miserable. He just lost his classmate, Yamauchi Sakura, and he's missing her so badly. Funny enough, he didn't even attend her memorial and funeral. He wonders if his dead friend read the last email he sent to her on the day she dies. What is the content of his last email and why must she read it? I really want to know, and I'm sure you want to know too, so let's continue with the story. He remembers how everyone in class loved Sakura, but he never got a chance to get acquainted with her. One can say the only relationship between them is that they are both classmates. He thinks he has no interest in anyone and absolutely no one has interest in him. As a result, he becomes addicted to a daily lonely life and concludes already that will never change. You can call him a loner if you want because that's who he actually is. Now how do these two become friends? Library. That is what really brings them together. They are both appointed as library assistants. He almost didn't want to say anything to her, but she insists he must say something, just anything. Then, she said to him, "I want to eat your pancreas." In response, he asks if her inner cannibal is awakened or something. That is when she narrates the movie she saw the previous day where people long ago ate animals' organs if theirs got sick. He has to ask again if she is referring to him because of the way she sounds serious about eating his pancreas. She doubts if he knows what pancreas is, but he surprises her when he explains that pancreas is in charge of digestion and energy conversion, so no pancreas means no energy, meaning death. Meanwhile, there's a secret no one knows about her, that only he knows even when they aren't close. He knows she has a deadly disease and he's the only one who did. Then, how does he know even when they never talk to each other? This is the story behind it. The young boy went to the hospital that day to check the stitches he did for appendectomy. At the hospital, he decides to wait at the reception and then he sees a book lying on the bench and being a bookworm, he picks it up to read. The book is titled The Infirmity Novel. It is handwritten and that makes him more curious to want to read it. "I haven't told anyone besides my family, but I'll die in a few hours," that is the first statement in the book. He continues to stare at this mysterious book, and from the book he discovers the writer plans she will be recording her everyday thoughts and deeds in the book. The writer has also decided to live with the disease, yes. She has pancreatic cancer which has killed most of those diagnosed, and to make things worse its symptoms can't be found easily. However, he is so lost in the book that he didn't notice the owner is right in front of him. "Excuse, that's mine," was the statement he heard that called his attention back to the world. Shockingly, it is Sakura, her classmate, the one he has never spoken to before. He tries to act as if he never opens the book, but she is too smart to believe that. She tells him she's there for a pancreas check as she might die if she doesn't. Wait, doesn't this young man have a name? He has. His parents will definitely give him a name, but it isn't revealed yet, so for now he's nameless. Back to the story. Hearing that, he is now sure not to doubt his sensitivity. The writer and the victim of pancreas disease is his classmate standing right before him. He finds it difficult to believe that at first, seeing how cheerful and carefree she is, so he concludes she must be kidding. However, she narrates how she's in sweat thinking she must have lost her favorite book, but now of all people, he had it. Could you believe she is laughing her heart out that you'll find it difficult to believe she's the one dying soon? You see that? I almost doubted it too, but sincerely, she's dying soon in the near future. I mean, how can you know your death day and still be happy? Is there anyone like that? I'm feeling emotional right now, friend. But let's continue with the story we just started actually. The young boy just stares at her thinking she's just being dramatic. He is lost for words, wondering what is so funny. She stands up and runs off, reminding him to keep it a secret and not tell anyone in class. That was his first conversation with Sakura actually before they became library assistants. The next day in school she calls him Mr. Classmate Who Knows My Secret. Being in her cheerful self, she tells him she has also been assigned as the library assistant, and that's when they have their second conversation. Sakura asks him if he has something he would like to do before he dies and he answers yes. So she concludes they are both the same since both of them might end up dying the next day. The duo walk home together and Sakura proposes they meet on Sunday to spend time together, and of course she's going to write it in her infirmity novel. The duo meet up as agreed and one will see how happy Sakura is. I won't blame her. Anyone can be like if you got time to spend with someone who knows your worst secret. They both enjoy the meat buffet on that Sunday morning and Sakura was beaming all through. You know what Sakura is holding there? Pancreas, which she calls shibire. The young boy asks if eating part like that is part of her treatment, to which she answers that she only likes it and nothing more. Sincerely, her diseases did not interfere with her life at all. And that got him wondering if she's really dying because she doesn't act differently like someone who is about to die. When they are done eating they move out of the restaurant, and before they parted ways, Sakura requests him to hang with her like that from that moment since he is the only one who knows about the pancreas thing. Afterwards, he returns home and that is the first time he has ever been around someone for that long. Few seconds later, he got an email from Sakura thanking him for hanging out with her. Her last statement baffles me. Let's get along until I die, it's strange, right? In response, he tells her he also had fun and they'll see the next day in school. Up next, he is about to enter the class that morning when he hears his classmates murmuring, and as he enters everyone becomes silent, making him wonder what is going on. One of the students then whispers to another that he was seen with Sakura the previous day and it's just the two of them. Just then, the most cheerful girl in class enters with a bright smile. Good morning, she says, but she receives no answer as everyone stares at her in a strange way. She quickly goes mute and her best friend, Kyuko, asks her what's with her and Mr. Typical Classmate. Oh. That's what he's being called since no one knows his name in class. I guess we can shorten that to TC and call him by that for now since the author refuses to give him a name yet. So our Sakura wears her bright smile again and replies Kyuko that she is now close with Mr. TC. That answer shocks everyone because he was never close to anyone in class. Out of fear, he tells them they only met by coincidence so no one takes Sakura seriously and that makes her feel bad. Yes! Our Sakura won't give up on him that easily and now she changes her name from Mr. Typical Classmate to Mr. Close Classmate, but we still go with TC anyways. Sakura informs him there's a place she would like to go before she dies and he has no choice but to agree to go with her. They visit another interesting place where they are served different kinds of sumptuous meals. It seems this girl has plans to eat all the food in this world before dying. Come to think of it, he wonders why she couldn't come with someone else, maybe someone who's not him, but the reason is crystal clear, that's because he is the only one who knows her secret, so they should get along before she dies. They both begin to enjoy their meal, but Sakura spoils the mood when she asks if he is dating anyone. Hearing that, he becomes angry and immediately stands up to leave. Sakura quickly grabs him and reveals she is just trying to know more about him. Strangely, he doesn't like talking about himself because he thought no one is interested in him and he's not even special enough for anyone to care about him. Sakura becomes upset hearing that. How could a person think so low of himself? Not knowing precisely why she is angry, he just says sorry. Sakura then asks him to tell him something, showing him how interested she is to hear. So, he tells him he had no friends from elementary school, let alone a girlfriend. Is there anyone who doesn't have friends in elementary school? I guess we see one now. Funny enough, he just accepted being alone since no one is getting hurt. And being a bookworm like me, he is into the world of books than the real one. Actually, most avid reader don't have much friends though, but it's not as bad as not having none. His story sounds boring, and so to make things more interesting he quickly asks if Sakura has a boyfriend and she let him know she once had one, but they broke up even though he is nice, but they didn't work out as lovers. Her boyfriend is her classmate, but since he has no tag on him he couldn't recognize him. While they are still chatting, one of their classmates shows up and it turns out to be Kyuko, Sakura's closest friend. She joins them at the table though she is surprised at first to see them together. All Sakura has to say to her is that they are close and that's all. Kyuko didn't want to believe it, but TC said the same thing. Kyuko and Sakura have been friends since middle school and she knows how intimidating she can be. When she leaves, TC asks Sakura why she didn't tell her about the pancreas disease and she responds that Kyuko is an emotional person and if she tells her, she's going to cry every time she sees her. At this point, he seems totally confused and he asks her again if she's really dying. Sakura answers again in a way that will make you doubt her. Sakura comments he is the only one that grants her reality and a normal life. She begins to tease him about them having a date, but he knows nothing about it. At the end, Sakura advises him to interact more with people, and when he gets home, he wonders what interacting with people actually meant. The following day, when he gets to school, one of his male classmates walks up to him and he is like, "Yo, typical classmate? Are you going out with Sakura?" The question caught him unaware and he replies with a no and makes it clear he has nothing for her. Excited, the classmate then decides to ignore whatever his classmates have been saying since he already has a no from T.C, and so they get along well even though it's their first time talking. TC returns home that day feeling relieved because his exams have ended. Sakura, the only trouble in his life now, didn't call him, so he feels peaceful. He begins to look for his favorite book he got from the museum during his visit. Just then his phone flicks. He just got a message from Sakura requesting that they travel far away on a train, and so out of pity, he replies that he's fine with wherever she wants to go before dying. They meet up like they agreed and Sakura is overjoyed to see her friend and at the same time surprised he comes unprepared, I mean with no spare clothes. Would you blame him? He never goes outside with anyone before. She hands over his ticket to him and then he realizes they can't get back that same day. Nevertheless, they get on the train and the journey begins with them having a good chat. While chatting, Sakura makes a statement that hit than any quote he has ever heard. She says, being on the verge of death constantly reminds me I'm alive. That hits hard truly. Many people take their existence for granted since they are healthy. Now, I think we'll get to know the name of our main character because Sakura just asked. Funny enough, she doesn't reveal the name too but only says it's an author name and perhaps he loves reading books for that reason, but he says yes and no, though he started that way but later he realizes reading is fun. Finally they arrive at their destination and you see how happy Sakura is. You must be wondering how these kids get away from home. Yes! They lied. Sakura tells her parents she's going with Kyuko and of course they let her do whatever she wants if she says it's something to do before she dies. T.C. on the other hand lies to them about having friends to keep them happy. Though that doesn't seem like a complete lie, he's actually keeping a friend happy. They had their meal and later, Sakura takes some time to write in her infirmity novel. T.C. in his mind assumes that must be her testament or probably her will. When they get to a place of prayer, T.C. prays that Sakura's pancreas be cured while Sakura prays she stays healthy until she dies. She accepted she's dying already. Sakura keeps talking on and on that T.C. wishes she just keep quiet, at least she's cute when she does. The duo have quite a lot of fun and Sakura is happy she's doing what's in her list of what to do before dying. Sakura at that moment requests that TC befriends Kyuko after she dies and he promises to think about it but in his mind he chooses rather to be alone. What a loner. They arrive at one extravagant hotel and to cut the cost they booked just a room so they'll be sleeping on the same bed. Sakura is quite excited about it but TC feels uncomfortable and so chooses to rather sleep on a couch in the room. After Sakura has taken her bath, they had dinner together. TC had his bath too and so they decided to play some games. Sakura wants them to play cards but TC says it will be boring. Sakura thinks and then resolve to them playing truth or dare but TC never heard such before. Sakura then takes her time to explain to him and soon the game begins. They are using the cards, so anyone who picks the biggest number will ask truth or dare. They did 10 rounds and TC is always picking the biggest number and asking boring questions. At the 9th round, Sakura picks the biggest number and she requests to play both the truth and dare together. She asks TC to carry her to bed for the dare and for the truth she asks her to say what he finds attractive about her. Without hesitation, TC carries her like a baby and puts her on the bed. Sakura feels quite embarrassed and surprised at the same time but she thanks him. Then, for the last round, TC has the biggest number. Then he asks for truth. The question she asks makes me tear up. She is like, if I told you I'm dead scared to die, what will you do? So she's actually scared, then how is she able to keep that feeling and remain cheerful? You see, that question got TC sweating and speechless. For the dare, she asks him to come sleep in bed with her. What are you thinking? Nothing happens between them, actually the duo are innocent people, so don't think that. They sleep together until morning without their body touching each other. Suddenly, her phone begins to ring so loud. It's Kyuko calling and she appears to be very angry. Sakura's parents called her home and she discovers Sakura lied to her parents about going on a trip with her, though she makes hassle excuses for her. To calm her down, Sakura tells him he isn't alone but with Mr. Friendly. Kyuko is shocked to hear that, but Sakura apologizes to her. She calms down and tells her to warn TC not to make a move on her, else she's going to kill him. TC overheard her say that but he isn't surprised. The duo continues to have fun. While they are in the restaurant, Sakura asks if he wants them to travel together again and TC responds that it will be nice. Sakura is so excited seeing that he enjoys the trip and wants them to do it again. She grabs his hand out of excitement but quickly releases it almost the same time, knowing that might gets him angry. However, TC jokingly said she wants to take his pancreas by force. TC confesses he had a lot of fun. For the next trip, Sakura wants them to go north because of the cold but TC objects, saying he hates cold and would prefer they go to the south. The duo are too opposite polar. TC returns home and back to his routine life but then he realizes he is earnestly waiting for Sakura to call to him. Really? Is he falling in love with her already? I think we'll figure out that in the next chapters. It's a school day long after the post-exam break and TC longed to have the summer break already. TC opens his locker and can no longer find his indoor shoes there. For the first time ever, Kyuko faces TC and he thought she wants to start a conversation with him but she just stares at him in a funny way. Just then, one of his classmates who we never know his name too walks up to him and asks if he throws his indoor shoes away. He is shocked and his eyes wide opened when he hears that because he never remembers putting his shoes away. He tells him it's in the bathroom trash can. TC stands up to get them and before he leaves, the classmate asks again if he is dating Sakura. In response, he tells him they only ran into each other at the station and nothing more. The guy at the end is able to get TC to see him as a good person. Sakura and TC meet again in the library as library assistants. There, Sakura tells him that the previous day, she was confessed to after school but she turned him down. TC seems not to care, probably he doesn't even understand. Sakura then suggests he comes over to her home but he declines. After much persuasion and promising to lend him a book, he finally agrees. The duo finally arrives at her home. Luckily for TC, no one is home because he's already worried what he's going to say to her parents. They enter her room and TC is wowed to see her room filled with books, though they are mangas. They decide to play a game but TC declines. Then, it begins to rain so he has no choice but to wait. The two had a lot of fun while playing the game and then, Sakura asks him if he will get a girlfriend but it's crystal clear he can't. He doesn't even have friends. Sakura advises him to make more friends. Sakura then asks him if he will like to make her his girlfriend but he answers no. That answer makes Sakura relieved. TC gets angry again, accusing Sakura of thinking he wants to date him all because they once slept in the same room and visit her room. He stands up and demands he's leaving. Sakura stands up as well and gives him a slight hug, whispering to his ear that she only asks that to cross it out from things he will like to do before she dies. She tells him she wanted to do something nasty with someone who is neither her crush nor lover. But Sakura, after saying all that, says she's only kidding and that's one of her jokes. All of a sudden, with a totally strange face, TC grabs Sakura by her hand and really wants to do something naughty with her, but I think he later regains his consciousness and let go of her. TC grabs his bag and heads for the door without looking back. TC is completely lost in thought even when it is raining. Just then, someone called out after him. It turns out it's one of his classmates, Takahiro, who once asked Sakura from him in the library. TC wonders why he's there, thinking he must be living close by. He asks TC what he is doing there and then grips his umbrella. Asking some many questions, TC understands he is referring to Sakura and he made it clear to him that there's nothing between them like he thought. That answer gets him more irritated as almost everyone in class knows they are suspiciously close and are going out together. TC then discloses that Sakura says he is the only one who can give him normality and then turns to leave. Angry, he grips him and tells him not to go. TC sarcastically said Sakura hates clingy people and that's why she left her former boyfriend even when he really wants to be with her. Frustrated again, he pushed TC to the ground and his left eye becomes blurry. All of a sudden TC is bleeding from his left eye and he falls to the ground, getting soaked in the rain. TC wonders why he would like to be with her so badly. Few seconds later, Sakura joins the scene and quickly moves closer to TC to cover him with her umbrella. She cleans the blood on his left eye. And this their classmate asks Sakura why she choose to be close to someone like TC, but Sakura's face looks so angry without saying a word. She helps TC to stand up and they both turn to leave. Sakura, before leaving, warns Takahiro not to bother them again as she now hates him passionately. It was Takahiro that blew TC on his eye. TC follows Sakura silently into her house and she gives him a change of clothes and towel and tells him to take a shower. It was through that he knows she has an older brother. Afterwards, she calls him to her room and apologizes to him for what happens. That is one of the most awkward, embarrassing experience he has ever had. Sakura explains that she follows him to apologize to him but surprised to see Takahiro there. Sakura confesses he is her ex-boyfriend and TC asks why she couldn't be with someone like him who wanted her so badly. He further states that they only stumble across each other in that hospital by coincidence, but Sakura tells him he is wrong, that they actually choose to meet and that's not a coincidence nor destiny. The next day is the first day of summer break and TC is in school. Surprisingly, Sakura is not in class throughout the day and that got TC worried. Oh, she's at the hospital. TC already knows that and here he comes for a visitation. TC knocks the door but no one responds so he just barges in. Sakura explains to him that her number changed a little and got admitted because her family was worried sick. She assures him she is fine and that she will be back to school after 2 weeks of hospital and special medicine. TC asks what she tells Kyuko, her bestie, about it. Apparently, she lied of getting her appendix removed and the hospital follows through. TC advises her to tell Kyuko the truth but she says it's hard. Honestly, it's hard to tell your friend you will be dying soon. TC spends some time with her and she seems so excited. Afterwards, Kyuko comes visiting and immediately TC grabs his bag to leave. Sakura asks for the clothes she gives her on the day he visits her. He quickly returns it and turns to leave. With weird thoughts, Kyuko's face changes and she looks almost like a monster. The next day, in class, TC's classmates tags him as a stalker and advises themselves to stay away from him. On his next visit to Sakura, he explains everything that happens in class to her and she tells him they are only interested in him. It looks quite interesting to Sakura and she tells him she's caught up in that situation because he doesn't communicate with his classmates and since they don't know who he is, they assume. TC really never wants to make friends but Sakura continues to talk more and more on why he needs to make friends. TC then realizes how much Sakura has changed him. After some time, he decides to go home and Sakura thanks him for the visit. On his way, he meets Kyuko. Out of genuine concern, Kyuko asks what TC thinks about her friend and out of sincerity, he tells her he doesn't know. Irritated, Kyuko pulls him by his tie and warns him that if he hurt her friend, she will kill him. She turns to leave and TC wonders what Sakura is to him truly. On July 28th, Sakura messages TC to come visit her in the hospital. They got to talk a lot and Sakura is still just her usual cheerful self. At the end, Sakura gives him a warm hug, this time tightly, and that makes TC wonder if something happens. She tells her that nothing happens as she only wants the taste of the truth and normality he provides her. Unexpectedly, Kyuko comes in. Seeing them in such position, she almost wants to break his head but Sakura holds her tight while TC runs off. On Monday, August 1st, TC while lying on bed in his room thinks something's odd about Sakura and wonders what that might be. Just then, he receives a message from her that she will be hospitalized for 2 more weeks. Tuesday, August 3rd, TC visits her again and she's just her typical self. TC brings her food and they eat it together. Sakura asks him what he will be doing over summer and he tells her he will be coming to visit her and also be reading at home. Sakura asks if he will want to travel with Kyuko her friend but he declines saying he can't deal with lion like her. Sakura sounds like she's never going to travel again and that makes TC so sad. Almost tearing up, TC asks if she is really going to die and why she's been acting weird lately letting out how pretty worried he is. Sakura stares at him for a moment and then smiles at him. She tells him she is only thinking about him and again she laughs so hard. Seeing TC isn't in for her joke this time, she asks if he isn't willing for her to die and he replies, yeah. I mean, who will want to lose a friend like Sakura? I'm feeling emotional right now. Again, Sakura laughs so heartily when she hears him say he wants her to live. Joking again, she tells him that he has to eat her pancreas when she dies. With a serious tone, TC reasons that she might not die if the parts that are sick are taken away and so he can eat her pancreas. That again got Sakura excited and she opens her arms to give him a hug. She promises to go out with him first as soon as she leaves the hospital. So they decided to meet at the cafe that day. The day of her discharge comes and like they agreed TC goes to the cafe to wait for her and he was there an hour before the meeting time. He decides to read while waiting but the people outside the cafe caught his attention. He realizes he becomes so interested in them and how they feel. Our Sakura has changed a lot about this loner. Then he realizes how wrong he is to have chosen the path of loneliness. While lost in thought, a message drops on his phone from Sakura. She has gotten home from hospital but wants to inform him it will take a while before they see. TC chats her up and they teased each other. Then, TC composes a heartfelt message of how amazing Sakura is but couldn't bring himself to send it. He then sent her I want to eat your pancreas instead. He awaits her response for hours and even calls her but she's not picking up. He left the cafe knowing that something might have happened to her. His heart consumed with fear. At night, TC is having dinner with his family. Then, in the news, it is reported that a young woman is found bleeding in the street with a knife in her hand and her name is mentioned as Yamauchi Sakura. And before she could be rescued to the hospital, she dies. TC sighs almost plucked out into his food when he hears that news. Morning, for the next 10 days, TC did nothing but read on and on. Now the only person who makes the real world interesting for him is gone. But there's one thing he still loves to do so badly and yes, that is reading the infirmity novel. TC then decides to visit Sakura's home and he meets her mother. He apologizes for not attending the funeral and pays his last respect to Sakura. You see his face, I really feel sorry for our poor TC. He sits down to have a chat with her mother and that is when he discloses he knows about her pancreatitis. He asks for her journal and her mother wept when she heard that, knowing he is referring to the infirmity novel. Sakura has once talked about him so she gets the book for him quickly. Sakura asks that the book be passed on to the person that knows about the title. She added that he might not come for the funeral as he is a coward person, but he will definitely come for the book. TC goes through the infirmity novel and she narrates how sad she was when he learnt about the disease. She also included every journey she had with TC, but she never mentions his name. From that novel he knows Sakura is really scared of dying but was just good at covering it up with her bright face and cheerfulness even though she felt very weak while in the hospital. She also reveals how she intends getting TC and Kyuko together as friends before she dies, and that was her last wish. Sakura's mom also show him her will where she apologized to everyone for hiding her illness. She still didn't mention TC name when writing about him in her will since he asked her not to. In her will, she asks that the infirmity novel be given completely to TC to do with it whatever he wants. The gist is that Sakura has been interested in TC for a long time because they are polar opposites. She expresses how much she admires his personality and how she feels so much adored to be chosen by him who never needs anyone. Sakura was madly in love with him. After reading everything he asks for her phone and then she realizes she got his message that day. Now, TC asks Sakura's mom the permission to cry and he cries like a baby for the one he misses. TC is literally broken by the death of Sakura, you see that right? Death is really unfair to have taken away someone he has lived for the past 4 months. TC after crying for a long time wiped out his tears and gets ready to leave. Sakura's mom invites him over for lunch. And for the first time, TC name is mentioned when Sakura's mother asks him. His name is Shiga Haruki. I think the author is trying to figure out a name so cute as he is, and that's why it takes this long to know his name. Haruki thinks of what he can do for Sakura and her family. He then decides to meet up Kyuko. He shows her the infirmity novel and reveals she is sick before dying. And even if she's not murdered she would have died. Out of disbelief and anger, Kyuko slaps Haruki but still he doesn't stop. Kyuko weeps so bitterly as she reads through what Sakura wrote for her. She blames Haruki for not telling her, but Haruki keeps begging her to be his friend since that is Sakura's last wish. He doesn't care even if it will take a long time before she forgives her. All he wants is that Sakura's last wish be granted. Kyuko didn't even utter a word, she just carries her bag and leaves. Even Sakura knows it will be hard for them to become friends, she's there with them but they can't see her. It's Sakura's anniversary. Kyuko and Haruki meet at her grave to pay her respect. The two now get along after 1 year and they decide to visit Sakura's home. They took quite literally baby steps to become friends. They brought their first gift from travel to her grave. The duo continues to remember Sakura and she's going to stay in their hearts forever.